Hey guys, so I'm finally here to do my annual top 10 list of 2016. I know this is February 7th right now when I'm recording this, so I'm kind of a little late in the game. I apologize. Like I said in my last few reviews, I wanted to see every movie, as many movies that came out in 2016 before I actually did my list. And like see all the big Oscar bait movies, all the big award winning movies before I did my top 10 list. And I like after I saw Manchester by the Sea, I figured I pretty much seen every movie I needed to see. Although I haven't seen them all, like Loving didn't come to my movie theater, Lion didn't come to my movie theater, so on and so on. I can't think of anything else, but I will say this, forewarning, this was one of the hardest lists I've ever had to make, doing these top 10 lists for, I think I've been doing it since 2012. And this one was really fucking hard. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for the movies that I put on here and the ones I left out. I left out, just to forewarn you, some of the movies I left out, Manchester by the Sea, loved it, but I put something a little higher or over it. Movies like Arrival, what was another one? Hell or High Water is not on my list. All movies that were great and honestly are really hard to take out, but I wasn't. I'm a person that don't go for the stereotypical award-winning movies. I go with movies that I fucking enjoy, that I had a blast at, that I could watch over and over and over again. Sometimes, not always, are those are award-winning movies. Those kinds of movies, in my opinion. So, like I said, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, and even a lot of the order that I put some of these movies in is going to get me even more shit. You'll see it here in a few minutes. But like I said, it was a toss-up of a lot of these, where to put some of these. But here we go. Number 10, Don't Breathe. This is not the only horror movie that I put on my top 10 list, as you will see here later on. This was one of the best horror movies. And this was a year that had a hell of a lot of great horror movies. This was probably one of the best years in horror I've seen in years. And this was one of the reasons why I keep saying that. This movie took a very creative idea and put a spin on it, where these kids try to rob a blind man, but then they end up becoming the hunted, and instead of them being the hunters. And I fucking loved it. It was a goddamn great movie. Goddamn, I'm forgetting the guy's name that was blind, who was fucking terrifying in this. One of the reasons why this movie isn't higher on my list is probably because of the twist. I know a lot of people that hated this movie because of that twist. They loved the movie up to the twist, which I didn't have a problem with. But this movie fucking rocked. It was one of the most claustrophobic, very creative horror movies I've seen all year. Okay, moving on. Number 9, Fences. An Oscar movie. Hey! This movie was a movie that was so fucking well acted, well written. Honestly, this I thought was more well written than Manchester by the Sea. Honestly, I put this over Manchester by the Sea because this was really, really well written. This number 8, like this movie, Fences and the movie that's at number 8 are two of the most well-written movies I thought of the year. And also Denzel Washington's performance in this fucking movie. I wholeheartedly believe he should win the Oscar for Best Actor. Out of all the performances I saw this year, this was one of the best I've ever seen, or one of the best I've seen. all year. And, out of all the movies, the actors nominated, he is the best, in my opinion. He flips a switch from like being one of the most charming people you'd ever meet to being a fucking complete asshole in like 2 seconds, and does it very fucking well. I love this movie. Viola Davis is great. Like, I love that this movie is based off a play, and you can tell, and it's also really well written play while at it. And I really fucking enjoyed this movie. Number 8, The Edge of 17. Another movie I thought was, like I said, really well written and really well acted. It was a movie that really was highly underseen by, like, a lot of people did not see this movie, and it was a goddamn crime that not a lot of people saw this movie. From Haley Steinfeld, who is kind of a little bit of a bitch in this movie, but also really goddamn good. Her acting in this movie, like, it was really good. Also, Woody Harrelson, bonus points for fucking Woody Harrelson in this movie, is the Woody Harrelson playing Woody Harrelson as a teacher, basically. But also, it's just one of the most heartwarming kind of movies I've seen all year. Was really goddamn a great coming of age movie, better than movies like Monster Calls and stuff like that. I really fucking enjoyed this movie. Number 7, I had to put this one on here. Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge is a movie that, man, I've heard a lot of people that hate this movie, and I kind of understand why, but I fucking love this movie. I had a joy watching this thing. It was, in my opinion, really fucking well acted. The first half of this movie is a really well acted kind of version of like the Pure Flix films like that you see nowadays, but for the most part, really like I said, really well acted, and like seemed genuine and seemed really well written, and Andrew Garfield was really good and everything else. And then the second half of the movie happened, and it becomes this one of the most graphic fucking horror movies I've ever seen in my entire life. People will say like movies like Saving Private Ryan, Apocalypse Now, and stuff like that. Those movies have nothing on fucking Hacksaw Ridge. This movie was ridiculous. And like, I forgot about, like, people keep bringing it up, like, some of the things that happened in this movie. And I'm like, this was Mel Gibson's return to high acclaim that like I said, I want to see, one of the big reasons I put it on this list is like, I fucking love Mel Gibson. I want to see him continue to be successful. I know he's kind of an asshole. I get it. I also like Tom Cruise, so but this was Mel Gibson in his true form. It went for like I said, the first half of this movie when I first saw it was kind of like, oh, this is a real different kind of film for Mel Gibson. This doesn't seem like a typical Mel Gibson movie. And then the second half of the movie happened, where it just becomes one of the most violent war movies. I was like, oh, there's Mel Gibson. There's the Mel Gibson I know. and this movie was a joy to sit through. Trust me. I recommend it. I'm glad it's getting I like this movie a lot better. I get a lot of shit for saying I like this a lot better than Silence. At least I wasn't bored to death by this. Was not bored to death by this movie like I was with Silence. At least this movie wasn't almost 3 hours fucking long, like Silence. God, I've said this. I really wanted to like Silence, but man, this is a lot better of a film, in my opinion. And that's saying something when Mel Gibson makes a better movie than Martin Scorsese. That's something I never thought I'd say. Number 6, Deadpool. I had to put this on here, and this is not my only superhero movie. This movie was, is now the reason why we're going to be getting a lot more rated R superhero movies. That could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing, but this movie was one of the most well-written superhero movies. One of the funniest superhero movies I've seen in a long time. It basically, brought justice to a character that a lot of people loved to the big screen after the atrocity that they did with Deadpool and X-Men Origins Wolverine. It is a passion project that Ryan Reynolds really wanted to get off the ground, and you could fucking tell while watching this. It's very, very funny. Breaks the fourth wall like everybody. I didn't know much about the Deadpool character going in. Other than what people were telling me of him. But because of this movie, it made me more interested in Deadpool than I was going into this movie. I fucking love this movie. Even the fucking choice of music, the opening credits, it has one of the best opening credit sequences. Actually, the best opening credit sequence of the year, maybe in a long goddamn time. There's so the humor is so goddamn quick witted, and also it's a really, really touching kind of romantic comedy at the same time, which is kind of funny. I really goddamn love this movie. I know a lot of people had this on their list, so I had to put it on here. Number 5, Captain America: Civil War. This was the better. While Deadpool was a fucking fantastic, well-written movie, as far as traditional superhero movies, this I kind of liked a lot more because you had a bunch of movies before this that helped build to this, and you had a lot of characters that I fucking like I said, there are a lot of superhero movies that came out this year that did try to do the same thing that Captain America did this year, or Captain America: Civil War did this year, and fail. Trying to have superheroes face each other, and you are supposed to care when they are in conflict with each other, and also, this movie has one of the most intense fucking battles at the end of the movie between Captain America and Iron Man. It was fucking amazing. I actually really dug the villain, and god damn it, what's this guy? I'm sorry, it's been a long fucking. It's been a long year. Daniel Bruhl, who's the villain in this movie, I thought was fantastic. I thought he didn't get enough recognition. I thought he was one of the better villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I thought he was kind of very fucking chilling in some of the scenes in this movie. I love how he gets Iron Man and Captain America to end up fighting each other at the end of the movie. Like, the final revelation was fucking fantastic. I really dug this movie. You had a bunch of characters that, there was no side that both sides I could see where they were coming from. And, it's unlike other superhero movies that did a lot of the same things that this movie did. This movie did a hell lot better. I won't say what movie. But anyways, yeah, I really highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it. I'm sure a lot of people did anyways, what I'm saying. Number 4, Conjuring 2. This was one of those rare times where I've gotta say a sequel was better than the actual fucking original. Goddamn, I love this movie. When I first saw this, I remember saying after I watched this, fuck, I'm not going to go to sleep for a while. I saw this movie at 10 o'clock at night, and then got home and had to go straight to bed. That was a hard fucking night to sleep. This movie was terrifying. From that fucking demonic nun to them doing an Amityville, kind of doing their own version of Amityville, to the main story of the little girl who's kind of fucking creepy, and also the story about this fucking old man that was haunting them and possessing this little girl. It was fucking terrifying. I remember just really good. It was the best horror movie of the year, hands down. It like blew everything else out of the water, even though there was a lot really good movies, a lot of good horror movies that came out after it. It still was the best one. Damn, I love this movie. Number 3, Zootopia. The best animated, well, the best kids movie. Let me clarify: the best kids movie, and honestly, probably the best animated movie of the year. It's a movie that was really important for kids, like one of the most intelligent, funniest kids movies to come out this year. It had a great message about, how we, should basically accept people of different races, color, religion, anything like that, that are different from ours, and I love the world that this movie set up. I thought it was really, really creative. Also, points for having one of the best side characters I've seen in years. The sloths. That sloth scene is one of the best scenes of all of 2016. I'm hoping this wins Best Animated Feature Film. This blew every other kids movie out of the water. The only thing that came close this year, in my opinion, was like Kubo and the Two Strings, but even that was just was not as good as this one. It set the benchmark high for the year when it came out in like March, and nothing else beat it. I had a great fucking message that you rarely see in kids movies. It also was kind of fucking dark, and it was just a generally great fucking movie, and it set up a really cool universe that I hope we get to see more of in future films. Number 2, I am going to get a lot of shit for putting this at number 2 above a lot of different movies, but fuck it, I'm putting it there anyways. Number 2, Sausage Party. Yes, number 2 is Sausage Party. Fuck you all if you give me shit for this. I fucking love this movie. This was a movie that, when you talk about 2016, the movies that I saw this year, and of all the movies I'm probably going to remember the most, this is probably going to be the one I will always stick out in my mind. How could you not fucking remember it? How could you forever forget this fucking movie after you see it? Seriously. From the premise of the food in a supermarket that are come alive during and it's basically a Toy Story, but also a very fucked up version of Toy Story with the food being voiced by Seth Rogen as Sausage, who wants to have sex with Kristen Wiig, who's a hot dog bun, to Sammy Bagel Jr. Wasn't Sammy Bagel Jr. Edward Norton, who's a fucking Jewish bagel, to the food finally finding out that their whole purpose in life has been a lie, and it becomes this really funny allegory about like religion and God and what everything else, like the belief in religion. It's fucking hilarious. One of the most uniquely intelligent films like of the year. It also has one of the most insane final climaxes I've seen of the year, with a fucking giant food orgy that happens that is something you has to be seen to fucking believe. It's hilarious. It was probably the funniest movie of 2016 hands fucking down. I have never laughed so hard, never had my jaw drop so much. Like, I had no idea of where, like, I thought I would know where this movie was going, and then fucking a throw of something at me that I never thought I'd see on the big screen ever. Good God, if you have not seen this movie, go see it. I fucking adore this movie. People have talked about that in the climax, the food orgy, a lot over the last year. How insane that was, and it deserves all the talk it's gotten. I cannot talk more about this movie than I already have. So, if you, I love this movie. So, number one, drumroll please. Number one, my number one pick for best film of 2016 is La La Land. I like before I saw La La Land, I honestly had no fucking clue what the hell I was putting at my number one. Honestly, I could not think of anything. Like, it was like a toss up. I was like, Sausage Party, Conjuring 2, I was like, kept going through my head, like, what is my number one film of the year? It's kind of hard to pick. And then I saw this movie, and this is one of the few times that I fucking agree with critics, the awards, all the award shows, that this was the best film of the year. I fucking love this movie. It was one of the most enjoyable sits I've had in a long time, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't love musicals. I never cared for musicals growing up, and still really don't. And this movie was a movie that, even though if you don't like musicals, you will love this movie. I really goddamn enjoyed this thing. I said a lot about this in the last a few weeks ago. The performances of this movie is fantastic. The visuals of this movie are fantastic. The dance sequences are fantastic. I love that. I forgot to mention this in my review. I love that after a while, it kind of doesn't become it stops becoming a musical when it becomes more serious, and actually becomes a really well written, smart film about relationships and stuff. Like, it's a really goddamn good movie that I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. It was definitely the best film of the year. It was the most enjoyable. Out of the year that we've had in 2016, one of the most depressing years I think I've seen in a long damn time. This was a movie that was just upbeat, joyous, and happy. Like, it was a great time to be at the movie theater seeing this thing, and because of that, that's something that we needed for 2016. Because of that, I gotta put this high on my list at number one. I love this movie like everybody does. La La Land is a fantastic movie. I highly recommend people go see it. If you haven't seen it, it's worth all the hype. And that's as far as it goes with my top 10 list of 2016. I'll get off here in a few, and then in a few minutes I will do my top 5 worst films of the year list. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. So until then, I'll talk to you guys later.